What's going on, everybody? So I am back today to talk about a newer release film. I've been able to watch a couple films lately that I'm getting caught back up on that aren't like the newest of the new releases, but ones that I either missed in the theater that have come to streaming recently and that I've been really excited to talk about. And this is one that I was really looking forward to. I am a huge fan of Ethan Hawke. He's one of my favorite actors working today. This was a film that a lot of buzz was surrounding it when it was released, and so I was excited to get a chance to watch it. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is The Black Phone. The Black Phone is directed by Scott Derrickson. Finney Shaw, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy, is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of little use. When a disconnected phone on the wall begins to ring, Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and that they are dead set on making sure what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. So I was really excited to see this movie. This is based off of a Joe Hill short story, Joe Hill being Stephen King's son. I could see how this is based off of a short story because I really enjoyed this movie. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. I feel like it is a little bit bloated, and I don't feel like it necessarily was to the point enough. I feel like it overstayed its welcome in a lot of places where it most certainly could have been trimmed down. But as the plot synopsis says, you have this young boy, Finney, who lives at home with his sister Gwen and their alcoholic father. And Gwen is probably one of my favorite characters in the film. She's super witty and funny, and the actress who plays her gives a really great performance. And their dad is just this really abusive prick. Treats them both like shit. They have a really bad home life. And when Finney goes to school, he gets bullied by a lot of people, but there's this young kid who stands up for him, who is this young Hispanic boy who's bullied because of his race. And he stands up for him and is kind of really close with him, and you get their dynamics. There's a young girl at school that Finney's really into, and most of the beginning of the film is just kind of building up their dynamics and showing abductions from the grabber to kind of give you a sense of this world. And I feel like that is honestly part of the film that's kind of takes its time a little bit too long, is really establishing this world. I feel like it could be done a little quicker and that the plot could just really get into it right away. You're slowly shown these kids being abducted, and it's just kind of one thing after another of like the town goes crazy, they go searching for them. The little girl Gwen feels like that she's having these like premonitions in her dreams where she can see these black balloons and this person abducting these kids, and that's really a fascinating element to the film, is this idea that she might have these powers that can give her the ability to see when someone is being taken. And that was one of my favorite parts of the film, was just her character and like her kind of back and forth struggle with, is this like a divine power that's been given to her? What is the reason why she's being able to see this? And so all these people get kidnapped, and one day Finney's friend who stands up for him gets kidnapped, and he goes to school, and these kids that he's been protected by beat the shit out of him, and it leads to kind of just this downward spiral where Finney goes home to walk by himself one day, and the grabber, played by Ethan Hawke, ends up kidnapping him. And so most of the movie is Finney in the basement of this place with this phone on the wall, starts receiving phone calls even though the line is cut, and the phone calls are from the kids who have been murdered by the grabber. Ethan Hawke gives an amazing performance, and we're given little glimpses into the psyche of his character. But if there's one issue that I have with this film as well, he's not in the movie a whole lot. He shows up every now and again to give these little lines of dialogue, but I feel like I wanted to have an even deeper dive into his psyche, because he's clearly this really damaged person who is doing these really horrible things, but we're really not given much of a reason as to why. And you don't always need a reason as to why, but I feel like, I don't know, between that and just the cutbacks of Finney just taking these phone calls, it seems so much less about, you know, the grabber's character or Finney's struggle, and more just about showing through visuals these kids who have been killed, giving Finney advice on how to get out. And that was what most of the movie was them calling on the phone and saying, hey, I hid this here, or hey, I did this here. And it was more of just like trying to build suspense on whether or not he could get out. But the thing is, there's not a whole lot of timeline or that ticking clock element as to like, okay, you have this amount of time to get out, until there's a period where they're like, this is going to be it for you. You need to get out now. And that I guess was the more difficult part for me, was it felt very repetitive, to where it was like, okay, get a call, do this thing. He comes back down into the room. They have a brief conversation, cut back out, do the same thing over again. And that's not to say that I think that was bad. There's some really good character writing in this film. Like I said, Gwen, the little sister, is great. The interaction that she has with the police is really fascinating. And then all the kids that show up that have been killed, I think that all of them give really great performances. It really creates this mystique around what is going on in such a fascinating and unique way. And that was my favorite part of the movie, was just like this aura of mystique surrounding, like, why does this phone work? Why can Finney hear the phone? Why can the grabber hear the phone, but he's just like really off-put by it and can kind of push it out of the back of his head? What's giving Gwen these powers? And those were all the things that I really liked about the film. And I do think that this is a movie that is worth your time. I just think it's a movie that could have done a lot more. I feel like it could have been way better than it was. And it's clear that it was based off of a short story, because I feel like if this was segmented down into like a 30-minute piece, that it would have been equally as effective, compared to it being an hour and 40-minute movie, where a lot of it felt a little bloated and just like it overstayed its welcome a little too long. So have you seen The Black Phone yet? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really good. Despite some problems I had with it, I still think it's definitely worth watching, and it was a solid horror movie to see. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I recently hit 500 subscribers. It's really an exciting time on my channel. It makes me want to push even harder to put more content out there. And so if you are not subscribed to the channel, join the conversation, join the fun that we have. I have such a blast with the people who are on here already. We talk consistently. I have great engagements with my followers, and I would really like for you to join as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.